Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm so sorry for not being there in Greece. Actually, it's really sad for me. I would really love to be there, but it has been a problem of bureaucracy in the States, which is not easy. So I'll start by thanking everyone on my behalf and behalf of Maria Guadalupe Morales and Lucia Jalón, which are my partners in crime in this project. So, in our search for imagining new forms of urban practice as a resistance to the neoliberal growing model of the city of Quito, we will point our focus toward the peripheries and margins of the city, which have been directly suffering this aggressive model of urban expansion, and that for decades, and through a repertoire of strategies, have been resisting to be absorbed by it, producing new forms of understanding and inhabiting the territory. Each and every form of life they deploy within their territories is a firm and blunt political stance against the neoliberal project enclosing them. We consider, as Raúl Tibeci points out, that it is especially from these invisible and marginalized spaces that urban space can be re-territorialized and reclaimed in an autonomous and emancipatory way. So our project is precisely helping to design the necessary tools to foster that resistance and put new strategies in action in the following years, as we will see later. As we'll explain in detail in what follows, for centuries and until today, two different social groups have been settling in the surroundings of the city. In Latin American geographical studies, they have been aggregated under the definition of urban indigenous. This term, it's worth saying, has allowed researchers to address in a different manner the historical association of the indigenous with the notion of rural, traditional, primitive, ancestral, or underdeveloped. Historians, again like Raul Civeci, for instance, have showed that forces operating in Andean countries, as Bolivia or Ecuador, towards the transformation of political regimes have always come from indigenous movements, constituted all along the 80s as a relevant political actor. So on one hand, we find those indigenous populations that have arrived to the city due to internal migration and after gathering and associating themselves with members of their same rural community of origin, have led to the creation of neighborhoods where they can maintain their cultural practices and rebuild their identities according to that new territory. They are usually referred as migrant urban indigenous. On the other hand, conversely, we find those indigenous communities that throughout the centuries and before and during Spanish colonization have been occupying territories around the city, either as free indigenous or as working force in the haciendas. They are known as native urban indigenous, and availing themselves of the legal form of the commune since 1937, they have developed different strategies to strengthen and maintain their communal organization with the aim of avoiding their disappearance.